All right. Well, eventually, I'm gonna clean up my apartment. Um, I'm filming this episode early before I have to go out and do stuff. Um, yeah, I definitely gotta clean this place. It's filthy. Applications. Okay, this welcome. If you're not familiar, this is the Until I Get a Job podcast. I'm pretty sure if this is ever watched later, that they're gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm good," and you can click off right now. Who cares? Just doing this for me. Just training myself to talk for more than 30 minutes, and we will see. I haven't done it yet, so we'll see how far I get. Applications, resumes, interviews is the title for this episode. I spend enough time on applications. I think every time I've been in between jobs, I fill out probably about a dozen because I get so sick of filling them out. Your name, last name, first name, I always get them switched. Sometimes I write them in the wrong place. I hate when I have to mess up a paper application or like scribble something with the pen, and I'm like, "Do I need a whole new sheet?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna need a whole new sheet." Like my handwriting sucks anyway. And they always give you like too small of a fucking uh, a folder or something else. Like you have to write it on your knee sometimes or someone's back. Like filling out applications sucks. Clipboard, that was the word I was looking for. Too small of a clipboard. I uh, I want applications to be like the autofill on Google, and they've gotten kind of good with it with the AI nowadays. It's just I can't wait for AI just to pick my job for me. Like do my character profile, and I will find out I'm a garbage man, and I would be fine with that. Or I want to be supreme lord of the universe. Like if AI could just tell me what I'm good at and tell me what I need to apply to do with the loosest character profile, and not even like how to be successful in what I want to do. Like AI could probably give me all of the tools necessary. And this is not necessarily about AI, but it'd just be lovely just to stop thinking. Wouldn't that be great? I think that's what's going to happen. We're just going to stop thinking, and then AI will convince us to just jump off a bridge. You know. Uh, Yeah, so I mean the application thing and going through each page and remembering everywhere I've everywhere I've worked previous and the dates I've been working there, and I don't like remembering that stuff even if I've written it down 100 times. Like thinking about the varied experience you'd have to apply to each job. I'm like, didn't I fill this out online already? Don't you have this? Why am I doing a fucking paper application? It's not like I want to stay at this job. I don't know. Resume, same thing. If you have my resume, just put it into the fucking application. I already did the work from the on the resume. The resume should just be the application, so I don't have to fill out a fucking application. Um, I wish I was a way more informed YouTuber and could just tell you everything that you needed to know about anything, and I just don't think that's gonna happen. I know I see all the YouTubers who have this content thing and their scripts and like how they frame stuff like, oh my god, have you heard? And I can't manipulate people like that. I can't. I This is what you get. This is all me and my brilliance. And I'm no Judd Apatow or a fucking. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm just lazier, I think, and I'm just in this dirty apartment talking to my outdated MacBook that somehow this will be a fucking thing, and I need to manifest things, and I have to do things in order to get there. And this is what it is right now, and It's only been 5 fucking minutes. I can't believe people could talk like this for fucking hours. This is so ridiculous. Uh, which is good because if nobody bothers to listen to this anyway, that's fine too. And I'm just going to keep doing this and bailing. So let me continue. Uh, there's something to. I always love when I get a job interview, though. A job interview is always exciting. I've been to so many interviews where I've just blown it. Remember when I first moved to LA, I got a job for this camp counseling thing, and I did 3 interviews. And then on my third interview, we were talking about the position, and I was like, yeah, and I had a little too much to drink on the weekend. And they're like, what? And like, I know all of them. Even the person I was looking at looked like an alcoholic. But when I said it, I knew I shouldn't have said it. And I knew that's how I blew the interview because I was being too fucking chummy. I was being too friendly. You're not supposed to be friendly on an interview. And it's you gotta be professional business. Hold your cards. You can't fucking say anything. You can't give them anything. And the clouds are really nice today. I'm going to show you the clouds. The clouds are really nice. Uh, yeah, so many interviews where I've just blown it. But also, I interview pretty well. I mean, I remember when I was working at this nonprofit called the Albany Community Action Partnership. There was a very wonderful multicultural staff, and I walked in, and like every time you go into your new office or your new job you're going to be in, you always notice how it smells different, or it smells like you're going to work there. Like I walk in and I go, yeah, that coffee and middle-aged woman farts is probably where I'm going to be working. Just hot middle-aged woman farts. They're not hot. The farts are hot. It was usually not the case that they're hot, but whatever. Bob cuts. As soon as you go in there, you see Bob cuts and fucking they making having yesterday's lasagna farts. And you're like, I guess I'm gonna be here for 9 months to 2 years before I get in a fight with one of these bitches. I don't know. There's an aspect to the interview which I always love when they're like, "What are your strengths and weaknesses?" Because you literally have to make up your weaknesses, or you have to over embellish things that are still good traits, but that you find fault in. Right? It's that little weird, tricky thing of like, oh, I care too much about the job. Like that's not a fucking weakness, you asshole. Or like I always get overwhelmed with doing too many things at once. I mean, that's a natural weakness to not be able to prioritize what is most important and create those things. Because you can't say you don't have a weakness. You just have to say what your weakness is. If I was like, hey, I like shooting up black tar heroin on Sundays, they're going to be like, what the fuck? You're not going to get the job if you say that. If you were like, I love beating up Asian people after 4 p.m. on Tuesdays, they'll be like, that's not going to work well within our brand. That's not our brand. And you're going to be like, oh, okay. So don't do any of those things. You can't admit any weakness. Uh, I'd like it if the interview, because sometimes they do this where it's like on the job training days, and you have to be there for a full day, and you try out the job, you like to see people. Most of the time, if it's a tryout day, I know I'm not going to like that job. Like I like a job where I have no fucking clue what I'm doing, and they just throw you right in, and you got to start off right away. And then everybody else you run into is like, "Oh, you're new here, aren't you?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then you have to get kind of like brought in. I like jobs that feel more like a movie, like a really like young adult movie where they're like, "Hey, so you're new here?" And you're like, "Yeah, I don't fucking know." And they're like, "Yeah, I was there too, bro." I appreciate those jobs. Jobs where they make it audition. Those people then can just put the hammer down whenever you don't make their fit. And some people know, right? Some people know whether or not you're a good fit for a job. Sometimes you get the job. Sometimes you'll be there for a while and you're like, I fucking hate this job already. But then you just still got to do it. until either your car burns out or you just not show up anymore because you found a different job. There's a bunch of reasons. Uh, yeah, I had an interview a couple days ago, and I went in today for a tryout day. I went to try out today. That place is ghetto as hell, and I don't know if I'm built for that. And I won't get into the details of the job, but you know when it's ghetto, and you're like, oh, okay, they don't have nothing together here, you know. And like again, somebody comes out. So all those unprofessional things, if it's not taken care of and you have to wait for it, you just know it's not going to be a great job. And you can kind of tell on the faces of your superiors whether or not you're fresh meat or you're easily kicked to the curb. Uh, yeah, there's just nothing that will prepare you for the next job. I mean, I've been let go from so many jobs for just little compliance things here and there, just not fitting in. And I kind of do it to myself. I definitely do. I'm not fitting into each job because I didn't like being there in the first place. Even if it was quote unquote like a good job or even a cool job, if I didn't feel comfortable there, I probably would have blown it. And there's very few occasions where I've kept a job and been like, oh, okay, I can see myself working here forever because I never do. I never do. And my father always said, keep your head down. You got to keep your head down so you don't, rock the boat. You just shut the fuck up. You do your job. You go home. You don't gossip. You don't talk to nobody. You don't share nothing. Keep everything very polite, but you're there to work and go home. You clock in, you clock out. And I, for the life of me, have never done that. I love gossiping. I like finding out the tea. I love socializing. I love walking around. I love getting familiar with everybody. Oh, hey, how you doing? All right, yeah. Oversharing because I'm a fucking nutcase. And just being me and just being very personable and very vulnerable. Earning everyone's good graces. And sometimes businesses don't give a fuck about that. Found that out very clear, and especially in Los Angeles, where you could tell someone your life story and they've already heard four of them that day today. So it doesn't fucking matter. Everybody here is out to make it and have big dreams. And some people don't give a fuck about you, and that's fine. That's fine. People don't have to give a fuck about you. More into therapy. I got to get it to 20 minutes. All right. I'm here for another 7. Bear with me. Applications. Back to the original thought. Oh, man. I'm getting tired even just talking about them. I like short applications. Just your name, address, and email, phone number. Boop, you're in the system. What I ask for your social security number, your mother's maiden name, maybe. Got to fill out the I-9 document. Got to fill out the W-2s or whatever. Everything got to get sent to the IRS. Everything has to be fact checked. I don't know. I feel like I haven't done my taxes in like 3 years. It's awful. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't care. Just start auditing and reviewing people because you got to pay that tax money. How? Nobody taught us how to do it. But is that the point? They never taught us how to do it. That is the point, to penalize you and to take more from you. Right. It's the predatory system. It keeps people in cycles of poverty. There's no bailout. There's no one who's going to save you. And that's the condition that this country has brought us to, is that there's no parents after. There's no parents. There's nobody who can bail you out. You're on your own. That's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to think about, that no one will save you but yourself. And it's a sad day when you find yourself alone in all of this struggle, unable to figure out how to get from point A to point B. Who is going to save you? I haven't made any money. I have no idea how I'm going to make money. I have no idea. Until I get a job, what am I going to do to get a job besides just complain and bitch about it? I feel like it's a therapy session of me being able just to get out everything that I'm talking about. Nonsensical or not, I'm making a cut. So I don't care who is watching this or what difference this makes to anybody, but it's going to be a thing. And I'm looking outside because it's such a lovely day outside. Uh, I don't even care if you're watching anymore. I don't give a fuck. Fucking stupid. It's weed. Fucking jobs. Not smart enough to make a business. I already thought about that. I don't know what I would do. Somebody do it for me. But talked about resumes, talked about applications, talked about interviews. What other interviews have I done? I mean, I always just remember you sit across from the other person. Remember when I did Live Nation? That was cool. That was three people I got to sit in front of, and I got to see that. I immediately started right away. I really enjoyed that job so much. And I felt betrayed at the end of it. So I really just don't understand what happened. And yeah, I'm at a loss for words. That was such a great job, and I feel like they shit on me at the end of it unnecessarily. And I wish I did get that written confirmation letter from my supervisor. I don't think he ever sent it. 'Cause I wanted to have written proof of my good ability and recommendations, and getting backstabbed at the end by like the higher up guy felt so weird. The other guy, there's three people that are my supervisors. One for the operations corporate, one for the office at mine, and then the third person who was working at Ticketmaster. Yeah, I felt screwed by that. I don't know. It's been 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Do I have something to say in two? Well, got to all this getting a job and having to fill out more applications when I'm already this old seems like such a waste of time. Unless the job is guaranteed, I'd be willing to do that. But doing my resume over again and updating it and all that just seems like such a waste of time. And I don't even really want to work, but I do want to work. I need a job. I need to change my thinking and get a job. And eventually, I hope to be able to get there. A couple more interviews. Got to keep applying, but it's been a month and a half, and I have to break this. I have to tell myself I'm going to break it, and we'll see when I get there. All right, I'm going to end it now because I have to get going.